What's going on, people? Welcome to the channel. Nick J. Francis here with a quick instant reaction to the North London derby. Um, I'm still a little bit in shock. I predicted it would be 2-1. I did predict us to win. If you check my Instagram, you can see that I predicted us to win, but I didn't think it would be that comprehensive. I know that they did score and we didn't keep a clean sheet, but I didn't think it was going to be that comfortable. I really thought it would be a much more competitive game than that. In the end, it was an incredible 45 minutes of football. The whole 90-minute performance wasn't bad, but it was really the first 45 minutes that built the foundation for us to go and win that game, blowing them away, coming out of the blocks super fast and super aggressive, which we just haven't seen under Mikel Arteta and certainly haven't seen this season. We've been really, really passive. But let's focus on the positives. Really, really good 45 minutes. The link up play was incredible. The confidence, everything was forwards. Last week, I was really critical of Saka, Aubameyang. Everything was sideways and backwards. And this week, everything was forwards, which was really, really good. Front foot football, that's what we want to see. We know that our defence in the past has not been the best. And what we would do under Wenger is go out and try and outscore teams. We might concede one, we might concede two, but we're going to try and score threes, fours, and fives. And that's what we want to go and see. Now we've got a solid foundation. We can actually go and score goals. Ones and twos should get us through the game, but going out and beating the North London rivals like that was incredible stuff. Like I said, I did predict it to be 2-1. In the end, for me, man of the match was Emil Smith Rowe. It has to be just getting involved in everything, cutting across the box, cutting in. His movement is really, really good. Coming off the left-hand side to go and get his first goal, and just even tracking back and hitting Tanganga with big, heavy tackles, which is not something you expect from a number 10. Certainly not something we would have seen with Mesut Ozil or number 10s of the past. So that's really good stuff. For me, unsung heroes, people like Odegaard, I thought was really, really good in the pivot, really crucial to setting us away. Tomiyasu was incredible as well, really, really strong, done really well against Son. I know that Son did score, but Son is a very, very tricky player to deal with. He's quick, he's direct. I think Tomiyasu did pretty well. The deep lying players, again, the difference. Granit Xhaka came into the team. I was one of the Arsenal fans that thought that maybe Lokonga deserved to start. Maybe Arteta thought that it's a really big occasion for someone as young as him to come in, although he does come from a leadership position at his last club. But Xhaka comes in, and I was a little bit worried about what that might look like. Maybe he slows the game down. But that deep lying playmaker position for Xhaka was really, really good. The one thing that he is good at, Granit Xhaka, is long passes, long diagonal passes, or direct on the ground, cutting through the passing lines. And when he gets that ball into Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, everything for him today wasn't sideways. Again, like we said before, it wasn't sideways, it was forwards. Every time they got the ball, it was forwards, 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 at least in the first half. And again, that created just a great opportunity for us to go and get goals. And at halftime, the game was pretty shut out. When they came out in the second half, yes, we allowed them to have more possession, but the odds of them coming out and scoring 3 or 4 goals when they've only scored 3 goals all season is pretty unlikely. I mean, like I said, I did think that Harry Kane might score. I thought he might get involved. Didn't look that interested. I mean, the guy was so desperate to get a goal or get a goal involvement. He helped us in our third goal. He got involved with us in twice, I think. He done a little step over, fumbled the ball, tried to bust the gut to get all the way back, tried to tackle Saka. It wasn't to be. I just think he wanted to get involved in the Arsenal celebrations, to be honest with you. Um, you know, who knows what's happened there. I don't even want to criticise the guy too much because we've had exactly the same thing with Aubameyang, so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth of holding on to a player and then it doesn't go the way that we wanted it to. And I don't think it's that they were bad. I thought we were very, very good. We were very direct, very explosive, which is what myself and lots of Arsenal fans have been asking for all season and a bit of last season as well. So really, really good to see it. But yeah, great performances from all over the team. Aaron Ramsdale as well was incredible. You could see him. I was there. I was watching him. How he was communicating with the fans, really geeing up the crowd. You can see he's an Arsenal fan. You can see what it means to him to be at the club. Somebody that a lot of people writ off. I didn't write him off, not because I'm a football genius or I think I know more than anybody else. I just didn't know that much about him, apart from the fact that he'd been relegated twice with 2 other teams, which obviously isn't great. But I didn't know a huge amount about him. I hadn't watched him play. I'd watched him play here and there, but I hadn't watched him play consistently. So I thought, I don't really know what to expect. He's been really, really good. Way more, not just everyone talks about the playing with the ball at his feet, for me, it's not just about him playing with the ball at his feet. He is very, very commanding. He commands his area. When he comes for the ball, he demands the ball. When he comes to catch it from set piece, he comes to catch it from set piece. He's very, very big and strong in that sense. Leno's a good shot stopper, but doesn't do some of that stuff. The communication isn't quite there. And that's why I think we see David Luiz and different people in the past making mistakes and where they're just not quite sure where the pass should go. Even sometimes they pass back to Leno and they pass it back to the centre of his goal when he wants it to the side. The communication was never quite there. He wasn't a big, commanding, strong presence, which you have to be. You're going to be at the base of that spine. Ramsdale sometimes almost plays like a third centre back, like a real modern sweeper keeper. The communication has to be really, really strong. So really, really good to see that. He looked just so happy to be there, which is a breath of fresh air. The whole environment around the stadium was absolutely incredible, and I think we really were. So it's a cliche, but the fans really were like the 12th man on the pitch today. And people say the Emirates is always really quiet, but it didn't seem like that today at all. Everybody was behind the team, and the team have to realise that if you give us good football, we're going to give you good feedback. If you give us bad football, we're going to give you bad feedback. It's as simple as that. We're all here to see the team play good football and to win. It is completely in the control of the manager and the players. Speaking of the manager, Arteta was going crazy on the sideline. He was obviously really, really enjoying it. He's next Arsenal player. We know what it means to him. North London derbies. He's been there. I think he scored in the North London derby himself. So he does know what it means. Does it buy him more time? Yes and no. I mean, if you look at the performance of the first half, ultimately what that shows us is we can go and play this football. We can go out there and play against the big six club. We're laughing at Spurs and bantering Spurs, but realistically, they're not an awful team. They are probably top 8, you might say, same as us, really. So if we can go and play that football against them, there's no reason we can't go and play that football against every team that's at least below that. If you want to be pragmatic against the top 4, top 6, understandable. But if you can go out there and blow Spurs away 3-0 in the first 45 minutes of the game, there's no reason we can't go and attack Burnley. There's no reason we can't go and attack some of the lower down teams. We scraped through against Burnley and Norwich 1-0, and then we go and blast Spurs out of the water 3-1, 3-0 at half time. And this is a Spurs team that just a few weeks ago were beating Manchester City. So obviously we are more than capable. And actually, although he's going to be thinking this is buying him more time in the job, and this is a result that the board and the fans want to see, it also may work as a double-edged sword of upping the expectation for him. Because if we can play this football against Spurs, that's what we're going to expect going forwards. Maybe not every single week. We have to look at injuries and who's fit, but this is really the level of what we have to see. It's an incredible feeling. I don't want to be negative, but it's about consistency. Speaking of consistency, our next 3 games are Villa, Crystal Palace, and Brighton. Brighton and Villa are both above us. If we can beat those 2 guys, and Crystal Palace in between them, but if we can take points off those 2 teams that are above us, Villa and Brighton, and get 3 points at both those games, these are the games that are going to push us back into the top 6 and make us competitive for European football next season. And that's what we need. That has to be the goal. For me, he's finished 8th 2 seasons in a row. COVID, different, whether you want to call them reasons or excuses, whatever the situation is, it's done now. A lot of money spent in the summer. I don't really care about the money; it's not mine. And we've had a decade of no spending. But after the money spent in the summer, we need to be seeing top 6. We need to be seeing European football. We're attracting good young talent, but for us to go out there and really be competitive and really be a statement in the league and start challenging for things, we've got people like Odegaard saying he wants to win trophies. Gabriel's come out in interviews and said he wants to win trophies as well. For these things to happen, we've got to be in Europe. We have to be playing at the top level of football. We have to be pushing on. 8th just isn't going to work. So as much as this is a good result for Mikel Arteta, he may have created not more pressure for himself. The pressure's the same, but the expectation. We can see now that's the first time this season that I've watched a real game plan. Very often there's bits of a game plan here and there, but we haven't quite been on the same hymn sheet, so to speak. Today, everybody looked like they knew their jobs. Everybody looked like they knew where each other were going to be. Saka's been a little bit cagey and a little bit gun shy in the last couple of weeks, in my opinion. Having Smith Rowe next to him, Saka was brilliant today, really direct, but having Smith Rowe next to him, they know each other so well because they played football together for so long. It really gives him a different dimension. He seems to just be more confident when Odegaard and Smith Rowe and those types of players are around him, because he's got license to try and do things. And if it doesn't work, he knows he's got a bit of support. um, that's behind him, and so it just gives him a little bit more freedom to take the odd risk. So yeah, the next three games are going to be really, really crucial. You know, we're down in, I think we're eighth or ninth or something like that. I need to check the table and see where we are after the other results today. But if we can win the next two or three games, that puts us back into top six position, and that's really where we need to be if we want to be the club that we once were. We need to be in European football. Speaking of, I don't know how many of you saw, but Henri was in the house. You know, the king himself was at the Emirates watching the game, and he wasn't there alone. He was there with Daniel Ek, the guy from Spotify, the guy that most Arsenal fans are hoping will launch a bid, try and get a takeover going and stuff like that. So who knows if whether he's Daniel Ek is apparently an Arsenal fan. Who knows if he's there as a in a fan capacity, or the fact that he's there with Henri shows that he's still trying to get the legends of the club on side and still trying to make this takeover happen. I would love to see it, although the Cronkies have put in some investment. I'm kind of torn about whether or not we say, look, they've put some money into the club, they've put some investment now, let's give them some time. I don't know. You guys, let me know what you think, whether you're an Arsenal fan or not. You guys have got all different opinions from being fans of other clubs. What do you think? These guys going and spending big in the summer, does that buy them more time, or does it just depend on what happens at the end of the season? But anyway, incredible 45 minutes of football. Everybody's going crazy. The only thing I would say, and again, I don't want to be negative, but the only thing I would say is that it wasn't an incredible 90 minutes of football. It was an incredible 45 minutes of football, and then we were able to see the game out after that. They didn't look, I know they got a goal, but they didn't look a huge threat. But it wasn't that we cannot maintain that pace for 90 minutes. We've got to be smart with substitutions, and this is where having a strong bench with the likes of Lokonga, with the likes of Lacazette, the energy of Nketiah, Martinelli, all these guys, they're on the bench, and we've got a really, really strong bench. And this type of game and this type of performance is what that is for. But let's not get carried away. Let's get through these next two or three games. Let's try and get back in to the top six positions, and then let's try and hold it out from there. When we get to Christmas, it's going to be a little bit defensive. The people, when the transfer window comes in January, the people that are not quite in the top six will be able to make signings, to make adjustments. With the money we spent in the summer, we probably won't make any signings in January. So we really need to be up there knocking on the door of top six, or in that top six position when January rolls around. The next two or three games are really going to be crucial. Villa has looked really, really good. Brighton has looked really, really good as well. These games are going to be really challenging. And of course, Crystal Palace has, a couple of talisman players that are really, really talented as well. Anything can happen. So if we can do this against Spurs, we can absolutely do this against these other teams. And like I say, the next month is really going to dictate potentially where we finish by the end of the season. But all in all, it's been incredible. Thanks for checking out the video. Subscribe for more. Let me know what's your prediction. I think we've got Brighton next on the 2nd of October. So let me know your prediction for the Brighton game, and let me know what you thought about the performance today and who's your man of the match. Peace.